evening, kitties. For tonight's tale, we are going to tell a most chilling and frightening tale brought to you by the mind of the man who gave us Bad Taste, Heavenly Creatures, and my all-time favorite movie, Brain Dead. Yes, before he made Tolkien's world come to life, Peter Jackson was bringing a terrifying tale, simply known as The Frighteners.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cinema Gems. I'm your host, Aaron Kramers, and my friend,
Ghostmaster himself, Thomas and Arron.
Tonight's film is a 90s ghost movie from legendary film director Peter Jackson. We're talking about The Frighteners.
Oh man, I can't tell you how excited I was when I saw this for the first time. I didn't even know it was a Peter Jackson film at first, to be honest.
Me neither.
In fact, I was surprised to find out he directed this. This was like one of the films that got him more recognized in the States in a way, right?
Mm-hmm. Right before The Lord of the Rings.
Right, yeah, this was like the film he directed just before Lord of the Rings, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Because after this, he finally got a recognition from a big studio, and they say, Petey, buddy, we love your stuff. What do you think you're going to do next? But actually, guys, I was wondering if I could direct Lord of the Rings. Like, that's going to make a profit. But, in all fairness, I think there's also a reason I didn't know this was a Peter Jackson film at first. It doesn't really kind of feel like a Jackson film at first.
Yeah, it feels more like a Tales from the Crypt movie.
Which is weird because, get this, guess who produced this film actually?
Robert Zemeckis?
Yeah, this is a Zemeckis film. And apparently, when Zemeckis was working for Tales from the Crypt, he had this one idea about a possible sort of spin-off for Tales from the Crypt, apparently. But none of the ideas that he was getting were solid or concrete enough. However, he then got a script from Peter Jackson and his writing partner, Fran Walsh, for The Frighteners, and he loved it so much he said, you know what, screw Tales from the Crypt, let's make this into its own movie.
Nice. And let's talk about what we liked about the movie.
What I really liked about this film is that it kind of has a very unique tone to it, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's very,
Creepy.
It's creepy, yet it's silly. Like, it akins back to Peter Jackson's earlier stuff.
Yes, definitely.
But with less viscera.
Less visceral. Well, here's the interesting thing. Peter Jackson was aiming to get a PG-13 rating for this movie, apparently.
Huh.
However, he got an R instead, actually. And he said, screwed. If I got an R, I'm going to go all out with this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell with some of the violence that was added in, pretty much.
Yeah.
But also, another thing to take into consideration with this film, this was filmed in New Zealand, as you can imagine. So that's what gives it its very unique tone. It kind of feels like a very gloomy area, kind of like, it's very gray, very blue in some areas.
Yeah.
But they also wanted to make it look somewhat like Midwestern America, kind of, so they also added in a lot of these old houses you would have seen from the 50s around that area.
And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the CGI in that.
Now this is interesting with the CGI because this is actually, the CGI was done by Weta Digital, you know?
Yeah.
That was the company that helped with Lord of the Rings also.
Yeah.
And it was set up by Peter Jackson in New Zealand. Now they had done one film before this, which was Heavenly Creatures, but this is their second film, and this is where they really shine in my opinion. Granted, yes, some of the CGI looks a little dated actually.
Yeah, but that's 90s for you.
90s stuff, but I have to admit, I saw some of the behind the scenes stuff with the Grim Reaper, and originally they had a puppet, and the puppet actually looks a lot more creepier in my opinion. It must be the way it stiltly moves. It moves more stiffer than, it moves more stiffer than basically Kristen Stewart in any audition tape I've seen her in. But more importantly, let's now get to why everybody loves this film, the ghosts in this film.
The ghosts.
Now this is interesting. I heard that the one thing Peter Jackson didn't like about the movie with this thing, the marketing for this film, he didn't like it. Especially with some of the posters he saw for it. You've seen the original poster for the movie, right?
No.
It kind of looks like Freddy Krueger's getting his face through a giant sheet of paper.
Oh yeah, that. I thought it was something different.
What were you thinking it was?
I don't know.
Well, all I know is they had that, and Peter Jackson didn't like that poster because, in his word, it didn't properly represent what the film was about in a word.
Mm-hmm.
But there were some other ones that came afterwards which more properly conveyed the tone, especially with how the ghosts are portrayed. The ghosts are, in my opinion, the most funniest parts in the movie, actually. Like, the ghosts that we remember the best are probably the three ghosts that Michael J. Fox works for the most, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've got blaxploitation gangster guy from the 70s. We got nerdy Poindexter dude from the 50s. We got the sort of Wild West
The
judge character. Interesting fact, apparently, this is something that Peter Jackson said that really happened on set. Marty McFly, you know, Michael J. Fox's character, well, for some reason, he messed up a lot of the lines involving the judge because instead of judge, he would call the character Doc instead. So I'm thinking, did he still think he was on that same movie? It is a Zemeckis-produced film, who knows?
Yeah.
There's some really funny stuff, guys. Look it up. There's where Michael J. Fox saying, Doc! I said it again. And you can hear the entire crew laughing behind
And
him.
then there's Jeffrey Combs.
Oh, our old buddy Jeffrey Combs is back from
Yes.
our Reanimator review. Jeffrey, where have you been, buddy?
Yeah.
I'm so glad Jeffrey Combs is in this. He's like one of those actors that anything he's in is immediately boosted, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting fact, actually, Jeffrey Combs actually came up with a lot of the eccentricities of the character, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that the idea for his hair? Jeffrey Combs said he talked to Peter Jackson about what his hairstyle should look like. He wanted to go for a slick back Adolf Hitler looking haircut. That's what he wanted to get the hair like that. And they also came up with the ideas about him with the tattoos from the different cults he's been in, his nervousness around women, and my personal favorite, he has a hemorrhoid problem apparently. Yeah, you gotta love Jeffrey Combs, man.
Yeah.
I love the guy. He's great and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But besides Jeffrey Combs, let's also talk about the other cast members in this movie also.
Jake Busey's in it.
Yeah. I love freaking Jake Busey. Jake Busey is the kind of guy who can be creepy without even trying, really, in my opinion. Must be his horse-faced look that he got from his butt from his relative Gary.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, what the hell? Are those guys like half hick, half horse or something like that? No offense to any hicks out there.
I don't know. And the love interest.
Oh yeah, I forget her name.
I mean,
Yeah, that's the one problem I kind of had. The love interest is kind of bland a little of the time.
yeah.
She doesn't really shine per se, except near the end where she joins up with Michael J. Fox and they have to work together and all that. But also, speaking of love interest, let's talk about Jake Busey's love interest, played by Dee Wallace in the movie.
Dee Wallace is in it.
Yeah, she's the Patricia character, the person that helped the guy with his murder spree back in the 50s.
Yeah.
Which got me thinking. It kind of reminded me of another thing Peter Jackson was involved with, Heavenly Creatures in a way.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that character was supposed to be kind of an homage to those girls in a way.
Probably.
She even looks a bit like one of the girls, actually, in my opinion. And near the end, where we finally find out that she indeed was the accomplice of the murders and she goes full crazy, that's when the fun stuff really happened. She starts shooting at people, she stabs her mom Norman Bates style, all that kind of stuff. But, let's not... We've been talking about these actors so much, I almost forgot one actor in the film that we forgot to mention.
Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox, the man himself. I don't know what it is about Fox, but every time I see a movie, he's got this unspeakable charm about his characters a lot of the time. Because this was actually a very hard part of Michael J. Fox's life when he was filming this.
Yeah, because I think he may have, that's when he started getting the...
Parkinson's.
Yeah.
He was starting to feel a lot of stress from the Parkinson's because it was doing a lot of irreparable damage on his body at the time. He didn't quite announce it to people yet, but he was trying to keep it hidden. And as you can imagine, he wasn't really having a good time. And also, he was filming in New Zealand at the time when they were doing this, and he felt kind of isolated. He wanted to be with his family a lot of the time. But, damn it, he did a good job with his role, in my opinion. He kind of reminds me of, what if Haley Joel Osment's character from The Sixth Sense grew up to be a con man or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, I see dead people. Now for $1.50, I can help remove the ghost with a needed price of $150 or something like that.
Yeah.
Couldn't you see this guy on one of those sort of televangelist things like Miss Ruby or something like that?
Yeah.
Or Miss Cleo or something? I could totally see him doing that.
Yeah.
And also, we also forgot a cameo in that movie. Arlie Ermy as a dead drill sergeant.
Huh.
Seriously, what is with him playing drill sergeants in every
He was
film?
a drill sergeant.
In real life, yeah, and he plays it in real life all the time, it seems. Or as Arlie Ermy says, it's fun playing a bad guy. Or just a guy who likes to yell a lot.
Yeah.
And who better than freaking Arlie Ermy of all people? I was surprised he didn't say this to Michael J. Fox when he would kind of say, now you listen here, you little maggot. You're gonna do this right now, or I will personally skull fuck the shit out of you now. Or something like that. Just a theory.
Yeah.
But besides all that stuff, was there something about the film you per se didn't like a little bit?
I would say some of the CG, like we mentioned before, some of the CGI looks dated.
Now, they did use a lot of practical effects for some of the stuff, but a lot of the ghost stuff was done with CGI. And some of it is impressive for what they were able to get at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem was, when they were doing this, they had a lot of barriers to overcome and a lot of things.
But, like, for final rating, I would give this a 7 out of 10.
That seems fair. Let's see, the one problem I actually have with this film, the music, actually. Now, I like the music, and I freaking love the fact that Danny Elfman wanted to do this film because he wanted to be with Peter Jackson in this film. But I don't know what it is. When I'm listening to the music, it sounds like he took samples from Beetlejuice, Batman, and a couple of those other things and just mashed them all together, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, now don't get me wrong, some of the music choices they pick, like Don't Fear the Reaper near the end, is pretty good, but a lot of the time the music just doesn't stick out a whole lot. It feels like just a typical thing, but I kind of like it because it kind of tells you what you listen to. Like, oh, it's a Danny Elfman score. Great, I know exactly what I'm going to get with this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, having said that, I will give this film a 7 out of 10, as I would say. Alright.
Well, that's our review of Frighteners. What did you guys think about it? Let us know in the comment section below.
And if you would like to, you can also subscribe, and you can get notifications from our channel, and you can check out more of our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like a review of our Reanimators, just to see more of Jeffrey Combs hamming it up.
Yeah.
The Frighteners. Let me tell you, I was not very frightened, but you know what really frightened me? Checking my credit score. That made me want to drink, and when I looked into the fridge and saw that it was empty, I beat my wife. And then I realized I have never had a wife.